Has anything changed with Ryam Ramczyk's chances of playing in 2024 for the New Orleans Saints? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not looking good, right? We had a video way back in the day, accurate days, when Dennis Allen was talking at the coaches meeting, the NFL coaches meeting, and Dennis Allen said that Ryam Ramczyk had not been progressing like they were hoping. So it doesn't sound good. We haven't got any positive news. I believe the Ramczyk news or the prognosis or the expectation or what have you from the front office, from the medical staff, I believe that led to the Taliese Fuaga pick. I believe the Taliese Fuaga pick is the Saints saying we do not expect Ryam Ramczyk to be on the team. Or he might be on the team, but we do not expect Ryam Ramczyk to play. If he does play, it'll be very limited. He certainly is not going to be the all-pro right tackle cornerstone that we are used to with Ryam Ramczyk. And it's a horrible situation. You know, these injuries, and especially an injury like this, where it's just kind of a degenerative issue where there's really nothing you can do about it. It's not a torn MCL. It's not a torn ACL. It's not any of that stuff. It's just the cartilage is wearing down. It's not there anymore, and it's causing long-term issues. And, these are human beings. So you hate to hear that. It's not good for the Saints because the offensive line is bad. No doubt about it. This could be a bottom 5, bottom 3 offensive line. The only good, I would say, is that it is young. And you never know with young players, especially on the offensive line. I've been preaching for months, and I still believe in this, that you don't have to have the greatest offensive line in the world to win. You don't have to have an average line to win. You can get by with a below average line. You can get by with average. It's okay, right? So we're not asking for much out of this line. If Trevor Penning can get his life together and figure out how to be just a D plus, C minus left tackle, and if we can get anything out of Nick Saldiveri and if Taliese Fuaga turns out to be really good, we may be able to piecemeal something. But the offensive line is absolutely a liability. I'm not telling y'all anything you don't know there. We absolutely have to address it. I would not mind if we went out there and got some free agents. I would not mind if we went out there and got some veterans just to come in, play one season, and then we'll figure it out later. But I would love to hear some. It's crazy because if Ramczyk was playing, all of a sudden it's like, man, offensive line, it's not great, but middle of the road. But without him, you're asking a whole lot out of a lot of unproven players.
You tweeted last night some details about Ryam Ramczyk's contract. A lot of people had a lot of follow-up questions asking, is it a reality that he'll play or not? So kind of give us some more details on Ramczyk's situation.
Oh, I don't think he's going to play. No, I don't. But, this is the stuff that...
Yeah, so Nick, we agree on this one where it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to get to where they want it to be for him to play. Again, much less play at a super high level.
That's in his contract. He has a couple little incentives that basically allow him to make back the money that he gave up, and if he hits these, they would increase his 2025 salary, so $1 million for All-Pro. He also has a separate bonus specifically at left tackle, $1 million for All-Pro. That's been in his contract forever, just in case he ever got flipped back over to that side. It would just make up for the disproportionate nature of the payment between a right tackle and a left tackle.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
That was just something that his agent got into his contract.
So I'll give you all a little behind the scenes there. The reason they do that is so that Ryam Ramczyk doesn't sign a contract as a right tackle and lock him into that contract, and then all of a sudden he's playing left tackle, because if he is a good left tackle, he's worth much more contract-wise. So you don't want, that would be the ultimate screw job for the team to be like, yeah, we'll play you at right tackle, sign on the dotted line, boom. Hey, you ever thought about playing left? Oh, wow, you're an all-pro left tackle? LOL. You're still getting paid right tackle money. So that's why that's in there.
But that doesn't come into play. Then there's a bunch of different incentives, but if he gets all of them for playtime, they equal up to $6 million. But there's various thresholds, so it's like $1.5 million for 55%, and $1.5 million for this percent, and $1.5 million. Add it all together, it's up to 90%, $6 million. And then he gets another $1 million if he plays 90% of the snaps, and they win a playoff game, and $1 million if he makes the initial Pro Bowl roster. So add it all together, a maximum of $9 million. But no, I don't think he's going to play this season. I don't think he's going to play next season. I don't think he's going to play the season after that.
So, Nick is saying not even low key. He's saying high key. low key, high key. He's saying that Ryan Ramczyk is never going to play again, and that's certainly the way that it's trending.
Asking me today, I don't think that we ever see Ryan Ramczyk play football again. It's just not something I'm expecting now. You know, that's what I'm expecting, but you know, you hope for the best for him. You like maybe he proves everybody wrong. Maybe he, you know, all it takes is you know, people all the time get told, hey, like you're not going to recover from this, and then they do, and it happens all the time. So maybe it does happen here, but I think
I'll tell you this too, from a human level, like it's very difficult to put yourself in that spot to where, you know, if you're a player, like if you're Ryan Ramczyk and they're telling you like, hey, look, like, you know, you might need, like, think about how young these guys are. You know, like if you're told at 28, 29, 30 years old, just hypothetically, like, oh, hey, you need to quit playing this game or you might not be able to walk, like, or it's going to absolutely destroy your quality of life for the next 40 years, you know, like in a player's lifetime, like the NFL part of it is very short, which is why like Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders and Patrick Willis and players like that played their 6, 7, 8 years and said, all right, I'm out. I can still walk. I'm in no pain. I made my money. I had my fun. I played the game and I'm good to go. And then you hear horror stories of people like, even like Drew Brees and Peyton Manning, who's like, yeah, I have no feelings in my hand. I can't lift my shoulder. I can't play catch with my kid because I can't grip a ball. I can't, you know, I like that those stories right there are the reason why I don't expect players to push through whatever they got to push through just to play in the NFL.
I think what you're planning today, what your expectations are today, or that he's not going to play football again. And I think that their actions are already showing us that they're
Agreed.
planning as if the same. They just drafted a right tackle. Now, Guaga could play on the left side as well. So it's not necessarily locked in. Ramczyk could come back and flip to the left side if he needed to. That's a position he's played before. So there's nothing preventing it, but their actions are telling us the same thing, that they aren't expecting him back either. Their words are telling us they aren't expecting him back this season. People's eyes are telling them that Ryan Ramczyk looks like a tight end right now with the amount of weight he's lost. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that's telling you right now that he's...
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and all of it's trending in the same direction. Like, you know, I always say you never look at one thing, you never look at one mock draft, you never look at one report, but if the consensus is all saying the same thing, you got to pay attention to that.
Probably not going to play again, and they already said they don't expect him this season, so that tells you it's real bad. And if you want to get, you know, into the, you know, open up your third eye on the whole situation, like his contract is basically set up to like, here's $6.5 million or whatever it is. That's a guarantee, right?
That was already guaranteed.
Right. It's just like, take the money, hang out, please don't retire so that this doesn't screw our cap this year. And then,
yeah, which is fine. And I mean, my third eye is always open. Okay, you know, you got to keep your third eyes open, no doubt about it. But and that's kind of a good thing from the team to the player to say like, look, we're going to give you millions of dollars to just chill. All right, don't retire because then we're going to be in a salary cap issue. So that's win-win. You know, that's win-win for both parties here. It's win-win in a bad situation.
Make the decision after this season. So just collect all this money, chill, don't do anything because it's going to ruin our cap. Absolutely. So the whole thing is like, he can't retire right now, but he could practically, he's around though. He's around, he's at the facility. So like and
I think the weight is the big indicator. That's the biggest one. Again, guys, third eye wide open, but that's the biggest one to me. If you plan on playing right tackle or left tackle in the NFL, if you plan on doing all that, you don't shed a ton of weight. You shed a ton of weight. Jeff Saturday talked about it when he quit playing. Jeff Saturday lost like 140 pounds. And he was like, I had to stay big to play in the NFL, but I feel great now. Ramczyk shedding the weight, I think, is a good indicator of he's trying to boost the quality of his life. He's trying to boost his pain, you know, like the pain threshold that he's in. He's trying to boost his knee, possibly for medical procedures, whatever. You know, shedding all that weight makes sense. Shedding all that weight doesn't make sense if he plans on playing in the NFL again. So I think that's a big one if you want to read in between the lines.
He hasn't technically retired or anything like that.
They don't have a June 1st designation for retirements.
Yeah, there is. You can retire after that. But like, what benefit is that? Like, it's to their benefit if he doesn't retire this year. He retires. It's even more beneficial if he retires next year.
June 1st.
Yeah, and he could make even more money for doing that. They could throw him another $1 million or something to kind of do it that way. So it's in his benefit, it's in their benefit to not have a hasty decision, but I don't necessarily think that anybody's ready for that decision yet either.
The main point here is that just because you had gotten some details of his contract, it doesn't mean anything. With his situation changed, our expectations are the same.
Yeah.
Also, while we're on the subject of their finances, June 1st is coming soon. But just a reminder, they're barely going to see anything with Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston on June 1st because they already cut down their salaries to the league minimum. They will save only
Yeah, so we'll talk. I mean, they're just going to talk about the contract, I guess.
to sign it, and they get those June 1st benefits.
Yeah, so they're talking about that. So, I mean, again, like, guys, I keep talking about this offensive line thing, right? And I don't want to act like I'm the eternal optimist. And I'm not going to sit here and say, no, guys, the offensive line's going to be sweet. Trevor Penny's going to pan out. Nick Saliveri's going to pan out. Eric McCoy, Talise Fuaga, this offensive line's about to be a wall. They're about to stand up to everybody. I'm not going to tell you that, all right? What I am going to tell you is that it's a bad unit on paper. Potentially could be an average unit. It's a bad unit on paper. But teams can have success with below average playing offensive lines. This is not 1997 anymore. Having a bad offensive line doesn't mean the season's over. Nowadays, having a bad quarterback, having, bad skill players, that's way more indicative of where you will finish in the standings. So I just want to show you, to finish up the video, I just wanted to show you some 2023 rankings for offensive line and some 2024 rankings for offensive line, just to show you where some teams were. Because if we're thinking like who's got the worst offensive line, who had the worst offensive line last year, and what did those results look like versus what teams are projected to do this year. So let's take a look at that. So this is the mid-season of last year. All right. So this is the rankings mid-season of last year. So look at some of these teams. Okay. So up at the top were the Vikings, the Colts, the Lions, the Eagles, the Falcons. All right. That's top 5. You go down to where in the 20s, okay, and you've got the Niners, you've got the Chiefs, you've got the Saints, 23. So at this point last year, or the midpoint last year, they were looked at as this is pretty much what the performance of the Saints in the middle of last season, this was their performance. So whatever you saw, it's like, how bad were they? I know a lot of people think they were the worst line in the NFL, but they were really probably closer to 23-ish, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there. The Jets, 24, the Bengals, 25, Jaguars, 26, Panthers, Bears, Cardinals, Steelers. You can see that. So then coming up into this season, right? So where are they projected now that we've had the draft, now that all this has happened? Where do they project some of these teams? So the Saints are bad. They're projected to be bad. The Saints are projected to be 27, okay? Sure. No doubt, right? And that's with a projected Ryam Ramczyk. So really, this 27 could be like 32. But let's look at some other teams. So the Seahawks, 26. The Panthers are still ass. The Dolphins, 22. Jaguars, 21. Ravens, 20. Bills, 19. 49ers, 18. Cowboys, 16. Chargers, 14. Bengals, 13. And above that's going to be a little high. But the reason I show you this is because I want you to think, like, when you have your eyes on the Saints, and when you have your eyes on a team, and we have our eyes on the Saints big time, like we are big time focused on the Saints. So we can sit there and think like the world is falling. The end is nigh. It is a doomsday scenario because the Saints have a bad offensive line, right? But if I asked you what you think the Baltimore Ravens will do this year, you'd say they're probably the second best team in the AFC. Right? You'd probably say, damn, they might be the best team in the AFC. Them or the Chiefs. And I would assume if you went and looked at a top 25 list for the NFL, I would assume the Ravens are way up there. Y'all want to do that? Let's do it. So I just pulled up Warren Sharp's power rankings, and I'm glad we did because he's got the odds up there too. So he has the Ravens at number 4. 4th best team in the NFL. He's got the Bills number 8. He's got the Niners number 1. You look at the Super Bowl odds, the Ravens are the 3rd shortest shot on the board. So according to Las Vegas, the Ravens are the 3rd favorite to win the Super Bowl. Yet, they have the 20th offensive line going into the NFL season, right? But no one's going to say that. No one's going to tell you Well, the Ravens can't be good this year. They have the 20th offensive line, right? No one's going to tell you the Bills can't be good. They have the 19th ranked offensive line. The 49ers can't be good. They have the 18th ranked offensive line. So according to Warren Sharp and Vegas, the number 1, the Niners, and the number 3, with as far as the odds go, number 1 and number 3 odds to win the Super Bowl are your 18th offensive line and your 20th offensive line. Okay? So if you want to be an average to above average team, that just goes to show you that you don't have to have a top 5 offensive line. You don't have to have these all-stars everywhere. Now, is the Saints offensive line a problem? Yes, it is absolutely a problem. It absolutely needs to be addressed. No doubt about it. But do not just throw away the season. Do not just say, there's no way we can run the football. There's no way we can protect Carr. There's no way we can do all this stuff. There's no way the season's in the gutter until we get all-stars on the offensive line. That's too far the other direction. Okay? It's somewhere in the middle. Am I going to sit here and tell you they're good? Absolutely not. No way. But as you can see by this ranking, cross-referenced with the Super Bowl odds, in today's NFL, there's a lot more that goes into a team than just how good your offensive line is. Okay? So be careful because I'm seeing a whole lot of the season is a wash because of the offensive line. Be careful. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap at all. It's a young offensive line. It's not good on paper, but it's got room to grow. And hopefully if we add people, if Penning doesn't work out, if Saldivari doesn't work out, then we can either sign somebody, trade for an offensive lineman, draft another one next year, whatever. It's definitely a point. It's definitely a point of need, no doubt. But I just want you to see that teams can have successful seasons, teams can be perceived good, even with a below average offensive line. Okay? A little discussion here. Go down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. T's and P's, thoughts and prayers for Ryam Ramczyk. Maybe he'll surprise us all. Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.